Hello, this is Bruno pelletier-bacquaert, and this is going to be video number 2 for our current song, Fly Me to the Moon. And so last time I showed you the melody, how to play the melody. Today we are going to start about the improvisation part. So I'm going to do several videos for the improv part because it's a vast topic, obviously. But today I'll start with the simplest, most generic approach to improvisation, which is really use the melody as prime material. Because I've explained before in some previous videos with some of the songs that you can either focus on the melody or focus on the chord changes, when you improvise, and or do kind of a mix of both. Obviously, because since a lot of the melody notes happen to be chord tones, then if you play those notes, are you playing the melody or are you playing the chord, right? So there's a fine balance there. But we can specifically rely on the melody to start being loose and improvising over the song. So that's what I'm going to try to demonstrate today. So obviously you need to know the melody pretty well, so make sure you look at the first video. I'm showing you some basic interesting places to play the melody, and today, next step, we're going to start to improvise. Now, there's also something I discussed last week. I was talking about improvising the delivery of the song. So what I'm talking about today is improvising with the song, but that's our solo, so to speak, right? So because the melody can be written in a very simple and straight way, so that's not how we are going to interpret it. We'll deliver our own interpretation of the melody, meaning we'll play the right notes, but somehow loosely. But that's still considered playing the melody. What we're doing now is pretending that we start our improvisation, but like I said, we're relying on the melody. So instead of talking forever, I'm just going to play a bit with my backing track, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'll try to stay at first pretty close. I'll take another chorus. So that's the first example. I purposely stayed very close to where we were playing the melody originally, right? If you go back to the previous video, I was showing you that the melody was found within the notes of up a little bit higher in what I just did, but not that much higher, right? And I went a bit lower, but of course I can't go that much lower than that. It's already pretty low. But I didn't move up another fretboard like I normally would if I were, letting go. So purposely, and I would encourage you to do that at first, because it's easier to know really how much of the melody you are truly using or not. So play the melody in a certain place, improvise around that same place. And of course, if you really start hearing the notes that you want to play, then it doesn't matter where you play them. It could be up or down the neck or in a different register for that matter. But at first, it's probably helpful, maybe even visually, to stay in a certain place and then recognize the notes of the melody. I could maybe show you a different example where I'll show you how you can double, even triple some of the notes of the melody, so you're still using the same thing. See, I'm staying on the same note a lot. Let me do this again. And then create new phrase. Simple. Second half. So I hope you see that I did stray here and there, away from the melody. I mean, after all, I'm not replaying the melody constantly, but I'm still hinting at it. Little bits and fragments of it, to remind us and to remind myself actually of where I am in the song, and that's probably the most important thing. Like, we don't want to get lost in the song, and this is a very, very easy song to get lost on. Trust me, I've been there. Why is it easy to get lost? Well, it's a long form, for one thing, and it's quite repetitive. We have the same chord. In fact, the first and second half are almost identically the same in terms of the chords. And in fact, one thing I do, I have a little corrected, I shouldn't say corrected, but edited way of hearing the changes, and I'll put that in the notes also, because what I like to do at the end of the song, when we're talking about the last 8 measures, here I like to hear an E minor 7 flat 5 instead of a regular E minor 7, which is the original chord. But I like the minor 7 flat 5, because it perks up and it kind of makes you think, oh yeah, wait a minute, and then it goes to A7, So here often you can play D7, and then morph that into D minor 7. Alright, so those chords are helpful, would be just mentally, because it reminds me, oh yes, you are now on the second half of the song, not on the first half. And another reason why it's easy to get lost on this song is all of the chords are diatonic. Almost all of them. I mean, we have, what, like 3 dominant chords that pop up here and there throughout the form, and those are the non-diatonic chords. But other than that, you have all of the diatonic chords of C major, which, by the way, is quite unusual. I cannot think of any other jazz standard that has all 7 degrees of the diatonic chords. We have the 1 chord, clearly, the C major. We have the 2 chord, many times, D minor 7. The 3 chord, E minor 7. The 4 definitely goes to the 4 a couple times. The 5, obviously, G7. The 6 chord, A minor 7, that's the very first chord. And even B half diminished, that's the 7 chord. Now, I know when the B half diminished happens, it's really part of the 2-5 going to the 6. It's really a B half diminished to E7 to A minor, right? So that's a 2-5 going to A minor. But nonetheless, it still is a B minor 7 flat 5, B half diminished, and it's the 7th degree in C major. So there you have it. You have all of the 7 degrees in C major. And I think that's pretty unusual. I can't really, like I said, I can't think of any other standard that would have all 7 of them. If you do, let me know, put that in the notes. I'll be curious to add that to the list. Okay, so stay close to your melody at first. And in fact, the way normally I practice this is turn on the metronome. You can do that with a play along every now and then, but turn on the metronome, ideally in 2 and 4, and then just play the melody over and over and over and over and over. And what's going to happen, it's going to somehow force you out of boredom. It's going to force you to start playing some variations, playing a few notes here and there, because otherwise we get bored with playing the same thing over and over. However, we need to force ourselves to do that. So if you only play the melody twice, well, you're not going to get bored. But if you play 29 times, trust me, after the first 5-6 times of playing it the same way, you're going to start experimenting. Oh, I want to do something different. So that's a nice way to force new ways out of your own playing. Okay, so that's it for today. Next time we'll start improvising with the chord changes. All right, take care.